I heard somebody say a house divided cannot stand. So I have searched it up on Google, and what came up was in the Gospel of Mark 3:25, Jesus states, "And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand." And what I got from that is that it doesn't really matter what's going on outside of us. If we're not okay within, if we're not in union within our temples, we can't expect anything to go our way. It all starts with your mind. It doesn't matter how much pressure is on your shoulders. It doesn't matter how uncertain you are, how afraid you are. It doesn't matter how many people are coming at your dome. If you can keep a level head, if you can keep your chin high and keep faith and be at one with yourself and not at war with yourself, you're at peace with yourself. Within, everything will just fall in place. You just got to give it time. You have no choice but to be at one with yourself. Because once you're in disharmony with yourself, everything else just starts to fall out of line. Relationships, opportunities, and you start to look at the world in a darker perspective. You feel like the world is evil, or you feel like everything is working against you. But that's only because you're not at one with yourself. There's something lurking inside that you haven't really gave attention to. There's something inside that you haven't forgiven yourself for. And it's levels to that as well. And when I first heard that saying, I thought of the movie Encanto. And in that movie, right, if you've seen it, the family, like, they had all these like special powers and stuff like that. They had these special gifts, and they was doing extraordinary things. But in the house, it was some disharmony lurking in the shadows. Everything on the outside looked good, but something was lurking inside that wasn't right. And then as a result, the family started to fall apart. The house started to fall apart. But once they figured out what was the issue and they all came back together, and they was all on the same terms, they was all in harmony, that's when things started to bloom again. And that's basically what it is with the temple of God, which is you. If everything is not in order within, then everything outside of you is just going to reflect that, because you truly are powerful. A lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize the power they hold within. So they unconsciously create their misfortunes. But once you're conscious of what's once you're all conscious of what's happening within, in due time, everything will just start to reflect that. Reflect the harmony that you have within. Reflect the peace that you have within. The people will start to reflect that. You'll start to look at the world way much different than the next person who's at war with himself. Y'all two could be looking at the same thing, but seeing two different things because of what's going on within. And that's all there really is to it.